right, so we're coming up to 6:40. Let's go over the calendar. It's GDP week. Oh, we got Dylan coming in. That's perfect timing. It is GDP week and it is PCE week, right? So big inflation numbers coming out later in the week, and then you also have obviously GDP. So we'll see where that's at. But for this morning, what's up, Dylan? Morning, buddy.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, man. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to hear.
Good.
All right, let's get into the economic calendar. So today or this morning, we had German IFO business climate come out. Came out worse than expected and worse than previous over here. So that was actually expected. Germany is not doing well, as we went over last week. They're not doing any better than they were last week when it comes to energy and their economy as a whole when it comes to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. So later in the morning today, 9 a.m. Around the time we're done with our stream, LaGuardia's going to be speaking, so we'll see what she has to say. And then later on this afternoon, we got Messer speaking as well out of the FOMC. Other than that, you don't have too many things going on over here. A lot of yellow folder events, but looking at Tuesday, we got Powell speaking tomorrow morning. You got core durable goods orders, so that's going to be important. We'll see what that comes out at. And then we got consumer confidence coming out with some real estate stuff along with Bullard speaking as well. Right, so maybe we get the markets moving a little bit early this week on Tuesday, especially with the way they moved last week. Maybe we can continue that volume, but again, a lot of times after weeks like last week, you get some consolidating markets for a little bit, and then into the next week, you end up moving a lot. But keep in mind, we're at the end of the month for September. You may want to just take it easy when it comes to impulse entries and riskier entries or some of the newer setups that you're thinking about. This is where you really want to hone in on the setups that you're really comfortable with and sticking to those. Not that doesn't mean trade scared or anything like that. It's just be extra smart, right? Understand where you're at the end of a month, how the monthly candle's closing. Maybe it's going to be creating a monthly wick that you're now trading against. So just like I say, keep that in mind. But right now it's Monday, so moving in throughout the rest of the week, we may have some good volume. Looking at Wednesday now, we got Lagarde speaking again, right? You got Powell speaking again on Wednesday as well, and Bullard pending home sales. But again, other than that, you do have good trade balance, so we'll see what that comes out at on Wednesday. But other than that, not as much coming out either. But then moving into Thursday, that's where you have the big data. You got GDP coming out for the US, GDP coming out for Canada, but unemployment claims, we'll see what that's at. You got Bullard, Messer speaking as well. But that's about it. You do have retail sales coming out of Japan, so maybe that'll affect Thursday's Asian session, and their unemployment rate as well. So they have been talking about coming in and interfering with the currency, with how weak it's been and how it's basically just tumbling with their weak monetary policy. So we'll see how some of their data gets affected and see if they end up doing something from that data, if they end up taking action from that data. But as of late and as of the last few years, they've had negative interest rates and they plan on keeping it that way. It's just only now we've started to hear more fear basically from their central bank, the Bank of Japan, when it comes to the currency. Um, moving into Friday now. Friday is a big day. We got PCE coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'd imagine Friday or Thursday is the day we'd probably go live with Sharma. But looking at the earlier day on Friday, you got GDP coming out for Great Britain, right? You got PCI or CPI coming out for France in Europe. You have a lot of real estate stuff coming out for Great Britain over here as well, and then the CPI coming out for Europe along with their unemployment rate. It's a holiday in Canada. I wonder what holiday this is. Banks will be closed. Observance of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Huh. Government's not doing too much of that. Brainerd speaks, and then you got University of Michigan consumer sentiment coming out at 10 a.m. for the U.S., along with inflation expectations, which follows PCE. So we'll see what those two things are at, and then again, you got more FOMC members speaking. A lot of FOMC members speaking this week. So we'll see if their sentiment changes at all. They are very hawkish when it comes to changing inflation and fixing inflation. But we'll see if any of the data coming out like GDP, unemployment, any of that stuff ends up interfering or affecting that stance on their monetary policy. All right. Anybody have any questions? We had some stuff coming out of the UK this morning. The sterling is basically what GBP, the pound is called. They're talking about over here the fall in sterling puts pressure on the Bank of England to raise interest rates. So they're seeing how much the pound dollar or pound GJ fell a lot last night. When it comes to the monthly, you ended up having the opening of the market push all the way down to 149 and bounce off, right? So they're not doing too well over here. The pound falls as much as 1.1% to $1.07. It's the lowest level since 1985 over here. So they're not doing too well in Great Britain right now when it comes to the currency and their strength. It's very surprising to see them at 107 over here. It's normally it's so much higher. But let's look at the charts. For me, this is the fun part. And look at the monthly over here. You see how the monthly came all the way back down to 149 over here. But expect profit taking to be happening over there, right? You got this major support right here to the left that price is always bouncing off of. Get the previous candle bodies to the left as well, right over here, where price keeps bouncing off of as well. So you're going to expect some kind of a hard bounce off that area. The question is, does this wick get filled, or do we bounce off that area, some support held somewhere around here, or even reject 156 up here, hold support, and then continue right back up? Right, so multiple things could happen there. Change the color. But again, this monthly candle is a very indecision candle. It passed the high and the low of the previous, and it's a very strong bearish candle right now. So they ended up increasing the rates, and then we ended up reversing and coming all the way back down because they know that, okay, increasing rates short term, it increases the value of the pound, but at the same time, they're not in a good spot right now to increase rates. So that's going to push us down right after that. All right. So again, I got a few levels marked off. We got that highest wick over here of the year, right around 168,700. But we've been kind of like bouncing in this whole level right here between that and 166, holding a strong resistance at 166. All right. And then now rejecting that area with another. Remember last time we got a strong candle at that area, we ended up pushing down over here. Got a very similar size body candle at the same exact area, and prices tanked from here. Right. So last week ended up closing very strong bearish right below 156 over here. Get that top wick. We crashed all the way back down to 149, and now we're extremely weak as far as that candle goes. So I could very well see us rejecting that area, coming back up. If you guys remember the bullish trend that we have over here since COVID, been pushing up over here. We ended up breaking below that last week. So if you look at this, what could we possibly get from here? We get the low created, price ends up closing maybe, let's say, a very weak bearish candle. I doubt it because it's only Monday. So I wonder where we go here. Maybe we do flip bullish. But from here, what I'm thinking is price ends up coming back above 156, possibly coming into this area up here, and then we end up continuing right back down, right? That could happen where this candle just ends up flipping bullish and coming up into this area, or ends up closing bearish like that, creating a bottom wick, flipping bullish, and then coming back up into that area where we hold some kind of a resistance, where that could actually be at 158. We'll mark off 158. Where now you meet up with a very key level here. Coming up into 158, you get the previous resistance, support right in here, and then you get the trend line over here. So you meet up in this entire area right here before price ends up continuing right back down, right? But we also need to see strength for that to happen. We also need to see some strength out of the Japanese yen if price is going to continue down, right? Now, if we get some weakness in the Japanese yen, price could very well hold support, and we get some positive stuff coming out of Great Britain, and then we possibly continue up from here, right? But right now, it is a pretty big deal that we did end up breaking this trend over here. Got that strong close below, barely a bottom wick, so that tells you that this candle can break the low right away, and it actually ended up doing so and came right back down to 149, but then flipping all the way back up to this area. So we'll see what we get. But looking at the daily now, daily doesn't look much different. All right, price ended up mirroring this entire move coming into, get rid of the chat. Push right through 151 as well, coming into that level. That previous support mirrored the whole move here last night, and they came right back down to 149 before rejecting. So now looking at the 4-hour. Okay, 4 hours, a little bit cleaner price action, right? Clean candles, strong bullish close at 149, then we pushed all the way up. This current 4-hour candle, which opened up about an hour or 50 minutes ago, is now a lot weaker, right? So are we going to be holding some kind of a resistance in here to continue right back down? Because again, we're very bearish. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to draw any. Actually, let's see if we got anything valid up here. Yeah, there you go. So since 164 over here, I mean 166, we've been rejecting that area, printing the lower highs as you guys could see, but then we had this steep drop off, right? That was middle of last week. So we end up getting that steep drop off. Actually, that was towards the end of last week, like Thursday or Friday. I believe the 22nd was. Let's just double check that. Yeah, Thursday. So Thursday, we end up getting this deep drop where we create a new low, keep coming, continue right back down, barely getting any retracements. Like normally we're used to that and then that and then that, right? This was just like, so you see the bearish volume coming down. So we end up tapping into here. And now are we going to hold a resistance right up here after this bearish candle close? Looks like this current bullish candle is very strong. So maybe we're holding a support right here. But in being that this is the hourly, maybe you want to wait for price to break out of this area, either to take this up here or even safer right up here, or take the sells continuing right back down. Right. Now 30-minute. Okay. 30-minute. You can see that we're holding a support right here. And we have a current resistance here to the left. That it looks like we just got a very strong bullish candle right here, 30-minute bullish candle. Bottom wick formed on this candle and passing the high. You're just getting into a very key area where you got the previous support here on the 30-minute and you get the trend line over here. So you need to close above this level before you take any kind of buys. But you got a buy coming up into 156, which was that previous support over here. You got to see if you got enough room in here to trade. Yeah, you got about 100 pips. So there's definitely enough room. It just really depends on the price action right above this area. Right? Do we get the clean break and close above? Right? And we get a support formed right there for price to continue up. Right? And then again, you can hold that runner for price to continue right back up. Just know that you're trading against the trend here on a Monday. So you may want to just be calm, be patient, not take anything right away, especially like you guys that really put in work on the weekends. It gets very easy to just jump into a trade on Sunday or Monday. You get antsy. You just want to, show what you've been working on the whole weekend or some of the setups you've been studying over the weekend, which you should be doing. Like, are they playing out? And I just want to catch them. I just want to make some money today. I want to just jump right in. That's not the mindset that you want to have. You want to just stay patient here and wait for setups to come to you. Like you don't let the market dictate what you're gonna do. Does that make sense? Who we got in here? Tiff and Carlos. What's up, guys?
Good morning.
Morning, man. You got a hurricane coming towards you, don't you?
Yeah, man.
You guys bunkering down?
Yeah, just trying to stay 2 steps ahead.
There you go. Yeah, you learned from last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I remember that. That was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, last year around the same time, September.
Hurricane season.
Yeah, it sucks, but we'll get through it.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, again, looking at the 30-minute here, that is a strong bullish candle, which I like a lot. And I like the fact that this candle created its bottom wick and it's flipping bullish past the high of the candles. So, again, this is if price just like pushes through here, this is something on my back testing on a Monday. But we gotta, for me, the criteria for me and the plan that I will not break is I need to close above this level. And then we could see where we go from there. All right, we could see how the candle closed. You only got about 5 minutes left. So does it end up rejecting, or do we push through and close above, and then we wait for that support to form to continue up? All right, you guys all good with GJ?
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, looking at gold now. Gold is again in a free fall. You got the US dollar here. US dollar here has just been making higher lows and higher highs. This was last Thursday over here, right? Price we end up getting the data. I think it was unemployment. We come right back down, holding support down here. Ever since then, we've been bullish over the weekend, right? And then we made that spike up last night, and then we retraced right back down, but hold a support in here in this whole area. So we're going to continue back up, sending gold all the way down over here. Now I have a lot of these levels marked off: 2075, 2000, 1900, 1830, 1750, 1700, and 1680 over here. Price is now below 1680 with a clean move to the left. Now what I'm going to do, we got to mark off some other key levels below 1680 now, because now we're starting to come into that area. What I'm going to do is mark off, of course, the psychological level of 1600. Because it looks like since breaking 1700 over here, price is in a nice straight free fall all the way back down to 1600 with a clean move to the left. But we also have this area right here, which ended up holding as a support right there to the left, around like 1575. Let's actually make it 1575. There you go. So you have that area, right? And then you got another area, previous resistance here to the left, 1520, I would say. So we marked off 1600, 1575 previous support, and then that resistance. And then we can obviously mark off 1450. I don't think we'll be getting there anytime soon, but you never know. Never know with gold. So now we're starting to come into these areas. We can either adjust or turn these into zones on the lower time frames. We'll see, but at least we know what we're coming into over here and what we have to look for to the left. So looking at the weekly now. Weekly again, since the Ukraine-Russian conflict and then the Fed getting hawkish, we've been extremely bearish since creating these all-time highs, or retesting all-time highs from COVID, excuse me. But we've just been creating these lower highs, lower lows, coming all the way down. We have very similar price action right now as we did back over here. Right? Very similar. You get this pullback from the new low created, and then we just continue right through it, continuing all the way down to create a new low. Hold support, come right back up to previous support over here to the left. End up holding as a resistance and then tanking all the way from there. That was back in August 15th. Now, we took sells from this area. Quentin, I don't know if you remember this, do you? Taking these sells after the news came out.
Was it when I was on holiday?
What was that?
It was when I was on holiday, right?
I don't know. What dates did you go on vacation with your family?
Mid August.
Mid-August. Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
being
that's exactly it. 15. Yeah.
okay. So I remember being on the live stream, and the
Yeah.
two of us were looking at either unemployment or one of the data points coming out, and we were able to trade the exact reaction to the news, and we took this down based on the 1 hour or the 1 minute. It was based on the higher time frames, obviously rejecting this area over here and the key area. So that's
I
what we
remember
had.
that.
You remember this now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could have actually held that trade until now. Now we're obviously scalpers. We don't really hold trades that long, but it's just something to keep in your mind as you get more and more experience as a trader. That's always going to be your next level. Not that you have to accomplish that level now. You still want to master scalping. But any of you guys that, let's say, if you guys were swing traders, I believe personally that your next level would be swing trading because now you got to get your stomach used to holding on to trades over a longer period of time, not touching them, securing only when you say you're going to secure. It's basically the same thing, just on the higher time frames, and you just need more patience. But again, contrary of what I was just saying, or the opposite side of it, if you're a swing trader, your next level is scalping. Because again, you got to get your stomach used to being in short-term trades and being able to handle that, being able to handle a loss quickly and get over it and move on to the next trade. And also, if you're a swing trader and you're used to having a low win rate, but still being profitable, now you got to focus on having a high win rate as a scalper. So again, there's levels on both sides. And again, we're not going to be executing these right now. Maybe down the road, but right now we're really focusing on scalps, getting our 10, 15, 20 pips a day, making our living that way, and being content with that. Because the second you guys start getting greedy, where you're like, damn, I want to catch these big moves, I want to catch 50 to 100 pip moves. Once you start getting into that thought process before mastering your edge in the market, that's where everything starts getting tricky for you. Because then you're not securing at 10 pips. You're not securing where you need to be securing. You're just kind of getting greedy and hoping that price either drops or raises where you want it to, and holding on a little bit too long, right? It's okay to hold on long, but it's got to be part of your plan before the trade. All right, I digress. So moving over here to the current weekly candle, or the previous weekly candle, excuse me, very strong. Previous one closed right below 1680, right over here. Then the next one retested that zone between 1680 and 1700, flipped bearish, filled the wick, and closed a very strong bearish candle with a clean move to the left here. So now this candle comes all the way down into this previous little resistance right here, right? So we end up rejecting that area. So that's the low. It meets up perfectly with that bottom wick on the weekly and that resistance here to the left. We're now bouncing off that area, and it's a lot weaker over here. So can we get some sort of retracement continuing back up before continuing back down? Like, is this our new low? Kind of like what we did over here or what we did over here? Are we going to get something like that here where we then pull back into these areas and then continue down? All right. So now what we could see is a little bit clearer of a goal that price could be coming up into where it could hold that resistance to continue down. We break the support, right? Clean bullish bearish close below support. This candle created a top wick, passed the low, and created this low down here around 1627, and then ended up rejecting. Let's see if we can see that to the left here. 1627. See, price is kind of like, we're actually going to adjust this. This is going to be a horizontal line. We're going to make that a zone now. We have previous support and resistance right over here. Price is now kind of like bouncing off that whole area over here. So now you have this zone that price is tapping into and rejecting. But can we come back up into here where we end up retracing and retesting this level right here? I'll probably get rid of that, but that's that previous support over here to the left. That same horizontal line, which is basically that resistance, and then that wick rejection is our current support, or actually previous support that could turn into a resistance. So looking at the 4 hour now, 4 hour, what we're gonna do is just kind of adjust this area, coming right back down into that area right there. And so far, we're holding some kind of a resistance. Previous resistance before. Previous resistance before where we came up, rejected 1660, and then closed right back below here. This candle wicked into that area, closed bearish, and continued right back down. But right now, we're reacting to that level for a second time. So can we continue down from here? It's a strong bearish 4 hour candle. Yeah, there you go. Got that current resistance right there. Price is holding. Consecutive bearish candles over here. This candle is flipping bullish over here. So can we respect the high of that candle to continue down? Or are we going to form a higher low and continue back up? So it looks like we got some kind of a support in here that we got to be aware about. 30 minute. Okay. So 30 minute. Now what you guys could see is the rejection, lower high, price comes down, taps into this whole area, taps into that whole area, and then you start getting weaker candles. This is starting with this one where you have the long bottom wick, fairly strong body, right? But then this candle gets a lot weaker, right? That candle gets a lot weaker, smaller body, smaller wick. This one creates a higher low, passes the high of the previous candle over here. So are we just getting a retracement to then continue down? Or are we holding some kind of a support here and then continuing back up and just kind of like consolidating in here? Again, let's go back up to the higher time frame to get a better idea. Yeah, these are very this is where people can get trapped, where they think price is coming down over here, which it very well could, right? We have biases on both sides. But you have a very strong candle, you have a low formed. People miss this move, they get FOMO, they wait for the pullback, and they want to grab this move to retest the low, and we end up just kind of not even passing the low of that candle. This candle rejects, just creates a bottom wick, flips bullish, or closes a very weak bearish candle somewhere up here. The next one creates a bottom wick, passes the high, and then we continue right back up to this area. But for that to happen, we need a weak dollar. All right. And right now, the dollar is holding some kind of a support right here. The previous 30-minute close was bullish. So can we continue up from here, breaking this little resistance right up here to the left and continuing back up to this level? Just make these little small zones. If we do that, I could see us holding this resistance and continuing down. If we end up breaking support over here and continuing back down, that's like a rejection area, 113,800. I could see us reversing this and then pulling back a little bit more. All right, guys. Any questions? $16.60. Just gonna adjust this right there. No questions, huh? Yeah, 1 hour. Okay, so the 1 hour here ended up closing the bearish candle with a wick to fill. Now this candle right now, beginning at 7 o'clock, is now flipping bearish. Right? So can we be continuing down? I think price could continue down. You do have an indecision candle here in the 30 minutes, so you don't want to take a sell quite yet. But I think below 1635 over here, somewhere around here, you'll have a clean move continuing down. Let's neaten up these zones. Get that area price could come down into. And then this one is just way too thick. Someone in the chat. All good. Awesome, Carlos. Carlos, you have a good week last week? Been sending some nice charts.
Yeah, I had a good week.
Good to hear.
Yeah, I'm ready to have another great week this week.
Love to hear that, man. I believe you will. Anything you're concentrating on for the week?
Just probably just continue doing what I'm doing, just making sure I'm having good entries.
Okay.
And also when you was talking about making sure just, securing profit, I need to pay attention to that as well.
Okay. Do you feel like you've been letting trades go a little bit more than you planned before entering?
Yeah, that, and also like sometimes I'd be like, I guess like hoping that price will continue going up, and that's why like I don't secure.
Mhm.
So I need to just start securing and just letting runners run.
Those little things when it comes to your pair is why it's so important to stick to like one or two pairs that you're learning at one time, because that's where you start to learn like how they move and like when you can hold those trades. What setups are good enough for me to kind of hold a trade a little bit longer, right? Like how often is it going to mirror the move to the left, right? All those things have a big impact on what you do on an individual basis because each trade is a case by case basis, right? And you want to be able to know when you can hold or know when you only need like 10 pips or when you can only grab 10 pips out of this or 15 pips, right? And just staying like composed and understanding when and where it's time to hold those trades. But you'll get
Yeah.
it. You'll get it. Just stay disciplined, keep back testing, and keep studying your journal. I can't express how important that is for all of you guys. Keep looking at your previous journal and just categorizing your trades. One thing I love to do now, and just put them in a separate board on Trello so that you understand, like, okay, I come to the charts in the morning, I come to my computer, let me look over all my good wins. Right? You got a column of maybe 15, 20 good wins, and then maybe you could go over to your bad wins or bad losses and be like, okay, those are the trades I don't want to take today. That's very powerful for you guys to be doing. Most people don't want to do it, but I highly recommend you do it. But let me use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. I see Lewis came in. What's up, buddy?
Morning, man. How you
Morning,
doing?
man. You have a good weekend?
Yes, sir. You?
Awesome. Yes, we'll catch up right when I get back. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, yeah, Lewis, what was your weekend like? I'm muted. All right. So, again, the 30-minute over here is a little wacky. Got an indecision candle here, broke the high and the low. You don't know where price is going here. We also formed a higher low over here. So, again, safer sells. I'll actually mark this off here for you. It's going to be a smarter place to trade. Right down here, get the clean move to the left. About 67 pips. And then back above our 30-minute resistance right over here. You do have this resistance right here in that wick where you may want to maybe cut a piece off, but I think we'll be good. You got a clean move here to the left. If we break this resistance, I think we're coming back up to like 1658, 1659, somewhere around there. So this will be a safer place to trade as well for about a little bit more, probably like 80 pips up here. Yeah, 80, 90 pips coming up into there. All right. Anywhere in between, it's a little iffy, right? Again, we could very well continue down and fill that wick. I could definitely see price doing so. But again, it's a Monday and you're consolidating in here. I'm looking at this level too, where you had our previous support over here. We ended up breaking below. This candle ended up rejecting that area as well. We broke below, broke right back above, and this area ended up holding as like a support and a resistance here to the left. And now we're kind of staying below that area as well here and continuing down over here. So let me look at the 15-minute. Oh yeah, now that you look at the 15-minute, you could see this resistance holding and the 15-minute candle closing with no bottom wick and this top wick rejection, but a stronger body. So if this candle respects the high up here, it could very well continue down, maybe gradually. All right, where we pop up here and then we continue right back down. I could see that happening. But this candle has no bottom wick and you're basically in a consolidation over here. So just be careful and be patient in this area. Let's go back over to GJ real quick. Okay, GJ ended up closing below our level over here, passing the low of the previous candle, and now flipping bullish here. So we got about 12 minutes left for the next candle to close. Can we get the close above this level? What I was talking about here was, again, I like the bullish candle here, right? We actually ended up getting a higher low here, pushing all the way up. We come right back down, reject this level, but then we get the strong bullish candle close here. Next one creates a bottom wick, closes bullish, but rejects this area again. This one passed the low of the previous candle, flip bullish, and is now breaking this key area and resistance over here. So we might be coming up here to hold a support, and then we continue up, and that could be our trade today. Got about 100 pips in this range. All right. All right. So I was going to break down US 30 unless somebody else wants to do it. 5 seconds. Anybody? Damn. You guys were all shot today, huh? Okay. All right, I'll break down US 30 and then I'll have one of you guys break down one of your pairs as well. I'll call on one of you guys. All right. So US 30 is in a free fall over here, right? Since making our all-time highs, we've been in the biggest bullish market ever, I would say, pushing all the way up, correcting, getting that 50% correction. Getting that 50% correction of the 2020, COVID ended up bringing us right back down. And then we not only retested the high up here, but we got, like I said, a 50%. It basically, we get like 100% increase over here on the Dow. So we ended up reaching all-time highs over here around 37,000 to the left here. Ended up rejecting that area, closing right back at that previous support over here, rejecting the previous support, and then closing below, finally breaking this support right now, right here. So ever since then, we've stayed below it. Clean close below, rejected, clean close. Then you got this bullish candle close coming right back up into that level, kind of grabbing liquidity. And then price ends up rejecting that level and closing a strong bearish candle. Top wick respects the high of the previous, passes the low over here, and then we continue right back down to previous highs over here to the left before COVID. So this is, I'm going to mark off 30,000. Mark off 30,000. We finally broke it last week. And now we're just continuing down over here on the monthly. So we'll have to see how this monthly closes in the next, I don't know, 5 days, 6 days, I would say. We'll see how this candle closes, and we'll see if it closes below 30,000. All right. So similar to gold over here, right, where you get that close below that key level, 1680 on gold, but 30,000 here on the Dow. You end up getting a clean close. Top wick forms on the current candle, starting to flip bearish over here and continue right back down to this support and previous resistance. Right? Previous resistance, you got the support over here. Can we break below that area and continue down, mirroring this move coming down so far to here? There you go. So clean move coming down into that area. See, above this whole area right here, it's a little choppy, right? The current area that we're in, but we're pushing right through it, right? Again, very bearish. Actually, let me mark this off. It's been printing lower highs, lower lows. Now we're tapping into, I would say this is like 29,000, somewhere around 29,100. We're sitting at 29,400. So are we going to get some kind of a pullback before then continuing down? Kind of like what we got over here. We get this low formed, and then we get the hard pullback and then continue down. So last 4-hour candle. Is the current bearish trend since tapping the previous trend line up here. Just been putting the lower lows, lower highs again. This candle ends up closing kind of interestingly, where you had what this tells me is you get that bearish move coming all the way down here, and then we end up holding a support with this candle. So we end up rejecting this whole area right here with that wick, right? And then you end up getting the lower high forms. Price ends up coming right back down into this area. But then this previous 4-hour candle closes bearish, but it closes like a weak body, right? With a top wick like that. So a lot of times, if we could hold support somewhere in this area, we could very well fill that wick, right? And continue right back up. It does look like price is getting a little exhausted down here. We're still bearish, so it's still difficult to trade against the trend, but there's a few clues in here telling us that price could end up reversing back up here a little bit before continuing down. All right, looking at the 1 hour now. Now you can start to see that support, but you see the bearish pressure as well, the lower highs. Looking at our resistance right up here. And again, price is just kind of sitting in this area. You see to the left over here. Just gonna adjust. that right there. Let's look at the 4 hour. You got that support right over here. That's our nearest support. You have this level as well on the 4 hour that I'm just gonna mark off 29,500, which makes sense. Okay, so you got that previous area over there to the left. The price is rejected multiple times, and that's, what do you know? That's that previous support that we were just talking about. It's a little off, but at the same time, we did reject that level. Can we be coming back up into that area? So I think anything in here is kind of like a no trade range. Once you break above here, you definitely got some clean moves that you could be taking up. $350 points, over there that you could be grabbing back up to 30,000. Below 29,200. I know we had our horizontal lines here. 26,400. So you have all the way back down into here, but you're obviously gonna have a few pit stops. I'd say next area is probably gonna be like somewhere right there. Mark it off like this. And then you got the move coming down into here, which is our next zone, around 28,200. Yeah, this will be interesting. Now, if you look at the pre-markets too, not doing too well. Over here. Over the past week, previous week, you have now the change for today, real time. So we're at 29,400 here, but all the other pre-markets indices are not doing too well. So you can continue to play the sell side, especially like you guys aren't fighting the central banks here. Central banks are increasing rates, which is going to drop the economy. It's going to drop the Dow. It's going to drop S&P, NASDAQ, all the other international indices. But if you're buying that, you want to make sure that you're understanding it's like a short-term buy, especially on US 30. Because when it comes to increasing rates, you're decreasing the GDP, you're decreasing the ability to do business. So that's obviously going to tank the US 30 or any of these indices. So when you're trading or taking buys like up here, you're understanding that you're trading against everything else. You're trading against the fundamentals. All right, so I'm actually going to get rid of this horizontal line. You want as less mess as possible on your charts. All right. Sure, Joe, you want to kick us off with a breakdown?
I'm just trying to sort something out at the moment.
Okay.
Just-
Quentin, you wanna kick us off? I'm just going down the line here. I see Dylan unmuted himself.
Yep.
What do you want?
Could we do actually a journal trade breakdown?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone or just
A setup.
Oh, an A setup, absolutely. Okay. We can actually kind of look at all of them. Dylan, I'm guessing you want to break down a chart for us?
Yeah, I'll do one.
Okay. Awesome. So we'll do some of these A setups, these good wins. And I also have not only good wins, and for those of you that don't know, this is a Trello that I have, a board that I have on Trello, where I have been categorizing and going through every single day. I've been going through my 2021 journal, and then eventually 2022, and doing a later analysis, understanding what I did wrong, going back, looking at previous trades, and I say it all the time. It sounds like a broken record, but you could go back to trades that you took 2-3 weeks ago and know that you could have done something better. And that's what builds confidence in yourself. You know you're getting better because you're seeing the market a lot better and differently. So what I've been doing is categorizing this into good wins, which is basically following my rules here. And I won the trade, obviously. Bad wins is not exactly sticking to my rules or just taking a random setup and still winning the trade. So you'll have some in there. You have good losses, which you're sticking to your rules and losing the trade, which is going to happen, right? You're not going to win every single trade that lines up perfectly with your criteria on entering trades. Bad losses is not sticking to your rules and losing trades, right? So a lot of guys will have a lot of trades in here where you get undisciplined and end up just jumping into a trade based on wanting to make money. And that's not the mindset you want to be in. But you're going to have a lot of trades like this, especially in the beginning, that you're going to be taking. But another thing that's good to look at, other than good wins, is analyzed good wins. Basically, trades that you missed, that you would have taken in the past, that would have been a winner, obviously. But analyze experimental setups. So these are trades I've taken in the past that didn't line up exactly with my my criteria and everything. That's why I didn't take them, or I just missed them, and they're new setups, and I just wanted to journal them here. And then you got the analyzed swings, right? So swings that I either missed. Most of the time I miss. I think there was one in here that no. So these are like new setups on the swing trade that you're basically trying to figure out new rules for holding trades over a longer period of time, kind of adjusting your rules, not too much differently because everything's price action. It's the same on every time frame, but these are basically just analyzed swings. So you get what I'm talking about. Well, I was sending my chart on Slack. Nice, Carlos. Let's take a look at GJ. Okay. So price ends up pushing up over here. This is what we were talking about. 30-minute candle ends up closing above, which is what we were waiting for, but with no top wick. This candle passes the high right away. So what I want to see is some kind of a pullback into this area. That's a great trade, Carlos, by the way. But I want to see some kind of a pullback into here and a support formed where you can now take this thing up. Right, because I think if we get a support formed in this area, we could push through this resistance and continue up from there. Right, that is 156, but I think this level right here, previous support and resistance, I think we could push through that. But right now, with the fact that this candle had no top wick and it passed the low of the previous candle, we could very well see a pullback, kind of like what we got right here or what we got right here, to continue back into here and then continue back up. So yeah, Carlos sent the chart into Discord. Beautiful. Yeah, this is like the live backtest entry I was kind of talking about. Entry once price flipped and passed the high of the previous. Can't zoom in on here.
Couple of misspelled words.
What was that? Oh, you were just kind of typing it up quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll let it go. Yeah, I think based on the 1 hour, this is a great setup. You get the 1 hour candle close. Next one creates a bottom wick, passes the high of the previous candle. Again, you're in a very key area in the bearish trend, so you want to be careful with that on a Monday. But it is a very nice setup on the 1 hour.
But it
Stop loss
actually
below here.
passed the high before creating the bottom wick.
What's up, Quinn?
It actually passed the high before
Okay.
creating the bottom wick.
Okay. One thing that you guys can write down in your trading AAR is this happens with gold more often than I see on GJ, but gold will come down. Like, let's say this is gold. It'll come down, create that bottom wick, and then it'll be a small bottom wick and then pass the high in the first 2-3 minutes, right? And then all of a sudden, it'll come right back down to create a deeper wick to then pass the high and continue back up. All right, so just keep that in mind. It happens with GJ too, but it happens a lot with gold. But again, that's got to be your rules where when price passes the high right away, you're not just going to jump in, right? If you miss the trade, you miss the trade. What you want to do is wait for the bottom wick to form first and then pass the high. And make sure it's like a healthy bottom wick. Make sure it's at least the same size, if not bigger, of the previous top wick here. A lot of times when I see this candle closing a strong bullish candle with that top wick right there, you'll see an identical bottom wick. This one's even nicer, but you'll see an identical bottom wick, which would be valid enough to take once it passes the high right here. But just keep that in mind. But thanks for letting us know, Quentin. So again, very strong bullish candles bouncing off 149. This is why when I was looking last night over here, we ended up opening the market up, coming all the way back down to this area. Or we opened up over here, but we ended up dropping over here. Beautiful move, coming all the way down at 149, and then we come up, we hold a resistance over here, and then it looks like we're coming right back down to retest the low, but we ended up holding a higher low and continuing up. And for me, I was looking at that as like, okay, we came back down to 149 over here, right? And 149 is a strong demand zone. We've always gotten the hard move coming up from that area, right? And not to mention the candle body highs to the left, the resistance that it held as well. So now we're getting what I said this morning. With this candle, could end up flipping bullish, right? And coming up to retest the previous trend over here that we have. I think this is it. Yeah, it's somewhere around here. I'll put our zones back up. Yeah, right here. We could very well end up coming right back up here, retesting this area, or retesting 158 over here, holding some kind of a resistance in this area, and then continuing right back down. But again, you need a strong Japanese yen. You need very weak data coming out of Great Britain, which we may be getting this week. We got some scares over here with them talking about sterling dropping. So that's obviously adding to it. But what that's going to do is add to the pressure of increasing rates, which I believe is where we got this bounce, right? This morning when they were talking about like this tweet alone, the fall in the sterling puts pressure on the Bank of England to raise interest rates. So if that's the case, that's going to add sentiment that the Bank of England's going to increase rates, and that's going to strengthen the Great Britain pound, at least in the short term. All right. So now looking at this daily over here, what I was saying was if this candle closes like this, either bullish or very weak bearish, next one creates a bottom wick, flips bullish, passes the high, and we come up into this area over here before maybe holding a resistance and then continuing down, or we just continue to push up over here on GJ. And that was just a big liquidity grab. All right, but Carlos, did you secure yet? Are you all out, or are you just leaving the runner?
I secured 50 already, and I'm at break even.
Beautiful. What do you mean you're at break even? I
put my stop loss at
Okay. Awesome. And your entry, I'm guessing, was around 154, 950, somewhere around here, 155.
It was my entry was
155,
155.094.
Okay. And did you put your stop loss below that 1 hour wick?
I put my stop loss based on the 30-minute.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Awesome. Now what I want to look at too right now is gold. And gold, how we're holding this support over here. This is what we were talking about on the 15-minute with this candle flipping bearish and closing bearish, but no bottom wick. Then you get the strong bullish candle close over here. This is all 50-50. That's why you can't be trading in stuff like this right here. You got to be patient on a Monday and wait for candles to close. So going back up to the 1 hour, 1 hour is kind of rejecting over here. 30-minute is holding some kind of a higher low right here, but these candles aren't strong enough to tell you we can continue up. And this is a messy level for you to be trading in. I feel like this is throwing people off. But what I was saying was you may just want to stay out of this whole area, right? And wait for the clear direction that, oh, okay, we're actually breaking back above this current resistance and continuing back up that way, right? We're actually changing direction, printing higher lows, and continuing back up. Or once we break this support over here, I know it seems far away and it looks like you could grab and move in here. It's still very choppy, but below that area, clean move to the left and 67 pips you could grab. And not to mention the runner that you could leave for maybe the rest of the week. If we keep getting a strong US dollar, you could end up having that the rest of the week, just like we talked about here on the weekly, where we grab that nice trade based on news up here and we could still be holding it. Right? So you want to be recording those opportunities in your journal to see how you could be grabbing a lot of those moves. Quick glance at GJ real quick. Okay, so we're rejecting this area. Again, strong close, but no top wick. So this candle passes the high right away, ends up rejecting that resistance right over here to the left that we marked off. All right, so what I want, like I said, is this pullback here. We get the high created, which is amazing. So we have the range now, and that's about 100 pips away. 120 pips away that wick. I want to be able to retest that high today at some point. All right, if we don't get it, we don't get it, but at least we know this is going to be our setup if we end up taking it. All right, so Quentin instead of breaking down a chart, wants to go over some previous good wins we have over here on this journal. I believe we have Ki Young that just came in here. What's up, buddy? And Tiger. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, buddy? Tiger, you tired this morning?
No, I'm doing all right.
Good to hear. You have a good weekend?
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Good to hear, man.
Watching some football, as always.
Yeah. We had a boring game last night, huh?
Yeah, that was what, like 11-10? Stupid.
Yeah, it dragged out a little bit. All right. So Quentin, do you want to is there any specific one that you want to go over here? Let's take a look at the
You can take the first one.
first one. Okay, so the first one over here, if you notice the title, and this is what I do for the later analysis on these trades, is I'll form the title in the beginning of it. Like when I copy it over, I'll show you actually an example of this so that you guys can learn to do it. When you go to actions and then copy, what I'll do is like this will be, hold on. It'll basically show up like this in your normal journal, right? And then what I'll do is I'll go in and write this, where it's a 15-minute trade. I took it based on the 15-minute, and it's a counter trend CT breakout trade, right? And I labeled this as a B setup. So this is normally 15-minute setups are like B or C's. And what I've been doing recently is adding like B plus, B minus, stuff like that, just based on the setup alone. But 15-minute is normally, unless it's a perfect setup, then I'll give it maybe like an A minus or a B plus. But 15-minute setups are normally only B or C setups. So that's what I'll do. I'll write what kind of setup it is: CT, counter trend, breakout, and then a little. I don't even know what that symbol is right there, but give it the letter score, and then you copy it into your categorized trades journal, and then you put it into whatever column that we were just going over into that column. All right. So looking at this trade now, what I'll normally do is open up two windows, and I'll have one of them with just the screenshots. So I'm typing right here in the later analysis as I'm looking at the screenshots on the other screen. All right. So let's actually take a look at the screenshots real quick. First of all, the one thing I notice here is that I don't actually have any of the higher time frame setups here. I don't have any of the higher time frame screenshots. I actually wrote that here to myself as well. Should also include the higher time frame charts in this as well. So looking here at the 15-minute, this is the setup at the time. You have this consolidation over here, obviously in a bullish trend. You end up getting this like liquidity grab over here after retesting the previous support to the left. Liquidity grab, almost like a fake out of this level right here. Right? And then we get the top wick formed on this candle. We come right back down to that support. Then we get a support held with the bullish candle. Then they get this bearish candle close. Clean move to the left over here that we could be mirroring once we break this support. Right off the bat, I could see that this is back in January of 2015 or 2021. Or no, February 2nd, 2021. So right off the bat, I could see that I'd rather wait for this area to break, right? I wouldn't put my support up here anymore. I'd put it right down here, right? So that's one correction right off the bat that you can end up seeing from yourself. And that's what I want you guys to get used to, is really understanding how much better you could be doing on a lot of your trades, starting with the markups, starting with the levels that you're marking off, right? But then getting right into the setup that you're taking, getting into the entry, getting into the stop loss, getting into where you secure, where you cut losses, all that stuff. It should all be very meticulous, and you got to get obsessed with it too. You guys got to embrace the fact that like a lot of this is tedious, but you're going to do it anyway, and find a way to enjoy it, because that's when it gets fun, obviously. All right, so the 5-minute screenshot on the 5-minute over here. So again, waiting for that close. Again, I would be putting my support somewhere down here and wait for that to break. All right, so looks like I took this on the 5-minute, based on the higher time frames, but took this on the 5-minute. Price ends up breaking below. You end up getting, and the reason I took it on the 5-minute, I'm guessing, is because you ended up having this support hold right over here. Then you get the pullback, right? Strong bullish close, and then you get that bearish close. So immediately you get a resistance formed at this previous support over here on the 5-minute. Then you get this candle right here, which would be your key. Strong bearish candle. If this was on the 30-minute or 15-minute, I'd be a lot more comfortable taking. And I right off the bat, I don't think this is that good of a trade based on the 5-minute at all. But I do like this candle right here, right? You're holding this resistance. Once you hold with the wick to fill right here, once we pass the low of those wicks over there, price ends up breaking the low over here. I'm sure the reason I put this in good wins is because it looks a little bit better on the higher time frames. Yeah, this is the 15-minute. Now, 15-minute impulse entry, no top wick over here, which I don't like at all, right? And I secured 50% at the wick fill, right? Secured another percentage of both positions at 10 pips, stop loss to break even. So I guess that was only 10 pips. We didn't have as much volume in the market. I think just because you have the clean move to the left over here and the way this dropped over here to the left, I guess I ended up labeling it as a good win just because of the way I secured here and the way I handled the trade overall. Price ends up coming all the way back down, secured another percentage at support, 19 pips. This is the zoomed out screenshot where we have the whole move to the left over here. We end up breaking through all this area. But as you can see, this just shows you guys how choppy this area is right here. Right? And this is what we always talk about. This is all choppy over here. You got this support over here that you could be worried about, right? But once you get over here, the immediate price action, you have a clean move to the left, right? And then look at this. You get the clean move coming right back down. So that's why it's important to obviously register what you got going on all over here. But at the same time, your nearest price action here to the left is very clean that you can mirror. That's just a good example of that. But I'm curious what I wrote over here. Oh, okay. So we end up breaking below. Instead of like having my TP down here and getting hit at TP, I ended up moving my stop loss or canceling the TP, moving the stop loss above this new resistance that we have over here, and prices continue down. Look at that. So I ended up closing the full thing here around 153,200 or 143,200 over here as we were starting to retrace a little bit. And price came all the way back up to this area over here, and it looked like it's holding that resistance. We're consolidating. Okay, so I would have been stopped at break even up here if I didn't close down there. And price ends up coming right back down. Okay, so now that you go through these, what's it called? All the screenshots, what you end up seeing is that this was a nice move. It was a nice setup. The only thing was I did rate it a B instead of an A. It was a good win, is what I'm saying. I did rate it a B instead of an A, probably because it was based on the 15-minute, and this candle had no top wick. But this just goes to show you a lot of times it still does play out. Nowadays, I barely take these. If you don't get the top wick, unless you get like perfect price action, if you don't get the top wick on this candle, I'll be fine missing that trade because most of the time it'll pass the low right away and then flip back up. And again, we made a correction right off the bat where our support would be right down here anyway. So now what you could do is just go real quick through the later analysis and see what I wrote back in August. This was a trade you should have waited for. I guess I took a loss before this, but should also include the higher time frame charts as well. So it's a little reminder to take a screenshot of the daily, the 4 hour, all that stuff. Hold on 1 second. I just want to check GJ. Okay. Coming back down. 30-minute was iffy, but the 15-minute looked good with that bearish candle close, which is the one I was talking about. Next, didn't create the top wick first, but dropped hard at 8:30. So I was paying attention to the 8:30 volume and understanding that after that bearish close with the wick to fill, if we pass the low of that, you're passing the low of the previous wicks, and 8:30 volume should take us down with a clean move to the left. All right. So great job trailing stop, but don't secure as much on the way down. Let it mirror the move to the left. Maybe you enter multiple positions and let one run, especially after price dropped hard past all the other previous wicks with 8:30 volume. So it's just a little reminder to myself, and this will help you, Tyre, too, is just holding on to trades a little bit longer. Carlos, you were talking about that before as well. You're always going to have your plan entering trades. And this is not that I did anything wrong on this trade, but it's now looking at my performance and saying, okay, maybe I could have secured a little bit less. With a clean move here to the left, I could have maybe secured 50% of the wick fill, but then let the rest run. Or I could have entered 2 positions up here and secured on the way down on one of them, but then let the other one go all the way back down to that support. So that's just those little reminders to yourself, and studying your past performance is where you're going to get a lot better as a trader, and just trusting that process. Quentin, was that a good breakdown for you?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And it helps you guys?
Yeah, I think it gives you the opportunity to add tons of nuggets and like really develop what you have in here as you breaking down that. And yeah, I feel it helps a lot.
Oh, 100%. I think it was a great idea by you to break some of these down. Now, what you guys will find is that there's going to be trades and cards on here, and there's some on here that I know very well that I really don't even have to come back into. Like, I know exactly what I was doing on that. I've done plenty later analysis on that card alone, on that trade alone, where everything is basically memorized. But most of these trades, most of your cards, especially if you're journaling the right way and you have a lot of them, you have a big selection of trades, you're always going to be able to come back to these. No matter how many times you do, you're always going to be able to come back to these and study them and see maybe there's one little thing I would have done differently. I mean, you guys see within a month, right, of me just doing this later analysis, right, there's a couple other things that I could have noted in here, right, like right here. One more thing. Well, actually, I could do this. 9:26, 22. This is kind of how I do my later analysis. But one more thing. I would have had my stop loss moved down a pip or two below the true support. All right. So again, you guys will be able to go back into your journals and see what you could have done differently just a week or two in advance of a previous trade that you took. And you guys are going to gain so much confidence from that. And confidence is everything trading wise. As long as you don't get overconfident, you guys are going to be good because you're going to be very convicted in you're going to have a lot of conviction in every trade that you take. Whether it's a good or bad setup, you're going to know to stay out of the bad setups, or it's a good setup, and you're going to know, like, okay, I can take this, and not only that, I can leave this thing running. And I know price is going to probably drop if we have volume. All right. So Dylan, you want to break something down?
Sure, yeah.
Awesome. What are we looking at?
I'll just do a random chart.
Okay.
Okay, I just have a question to the English guys in here. Do you write the date with month in first place too?
English guys, as far as like England or
Yeah,
all of us?
England.
Okay.
Because we in France we write the date with like the month in second place.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's very common. Like if you go over to
I was
random
wondering in England what they do.
We do the same.
You do
The
it
month is in
second place.
second.
Yeah.
the
So
month
someone
of
asks your
second.
date of birth. If someone asks you your date of birth, you'll say, well, mine is 15/06/99. So
All right. Yeah.
the month is in the middle. The day is on the first and the year the last.
You're right.
Why? Is it different in the US or?
Yeah.
Didn't you see him? He wrote like 9/26, 2022.
I
Okay.
don't know if it's necessarily a country thing. I think it's more of just like personal preference. Because like if I go on to random.org here, and I don't know if this is US based, I guess it is. It's an org. So you got different, ways that you can write out your thing. You can either do the month second, right? And the date first, kind of like what you guys do.
But I
Or
feel
the-
like in the US you all do your way.
You're probably right. It could be a country thing. But I know people in the US that do it the way you do too.
All
Who
right.
is from the US here? Dylan and Tiger.
Yeah, Dylan, Tiger,
How do they do it?
Tiffany, Jamie, Lewis.
In Colombia, they do it just like how they do it in England. They do the like how Dylan was saying.
Yeah, the older I grow, the more I realize that the US likes to do things like opposite of
Just like with Celsius and
Yeah,
Fahrenheit
yeah.
and like the metric system.
temperatures. They like to do it with what's it called? Obviously these dates as well, but the metric system.
Metric
With
system as
measuring.
well. Yep. Or
Um,
there's like meters, centimeters.
Yep. Not
They
only
like
that,
things
but
bigger.
what was that, Quit?
They like things bigger. They use Fahrenheit. It's higher numbers. Pounds is higher numbers.
Yeah.
All that. You got buildings are higher.
Yes. I maybe it's just making up for something. We've always been like the underdogs, I guess, and we're still doing it. All right, so we can get rid of this. We're not back testing. Oh, like I said, I've been on a few Zooms with you guys recently, and I've been, just expressing my excitement for what's to come as far as like my scheduling and stuff like that. Being up in the Poconos and being able to back test with you guys on a regular basis, hop on individual back testing sessions, group back testing sessions throughout the entire week during the day. Hopping on a lot more Zooms with you, hopping on a lot more Zooms with people, around the world to get them in here for us. Add to the culture in the locker room. I want to get more and more like-minded people in here that are sending their analysis. I want you guys to be doing the same, but sending your charts, getting the conversations going throughout the day of what you guys are looking at, right? Like it's no secret that it's some of the most, well, it could go either way, right? It could be, you could be very successful and very quiet in any of these groups, but at the same time, a lot of the ones that are very active in groups, the ones that are sending their analysis every single day, they're asking a lot of questions as well, sending their charts. Those are the ones that typically are consistent with that, and they end up becoming very, very good traders, right? So if you guys want, not if you want, I highly, highly recommend. It's not only for me to have an active group and stuff like that, but it's more so for you guys because like, okay, I have to do this today where I have to send my analysis into the group and see what everyone has to say about it, right? See what I can correct. I'm hungry to get a lot better. And that's the mindset that you guys want to have. You throw the ego out the door, which is the number one most important thing for you to do as a trader. Throw the ego out. You don't care what people say about your chart or any of your trades, and you just go into it knowing that I want to learn, I want to get better, because people respect that. Right? So like again, there's going to be so much more time that I can hop on Zooms with you guys. I won't be on the road. I'll be at home all day long. I'm just very much looking forward to that. I've been thinking about it for a while now, and that's really why we're making the move. So again, looking forward to it. And also, a change for us and getting up in the mountains. That's kind of, as you guys get older, you're going to start to realize like you'd rather be a little bit more away from the cities and more, out in culture, and not culture, but out in the open, the outdoors, stuff like that. It's just, one thing that we're flexible of doing. We have the ability to do it. We've worked our way to this point at the same time. So it's exciting. Highly recommend you guys do the same. So we're going to try it out. But yeah, the main thing is just having a lot more time for you guys, which I'm looking forward to. All right,
You
Dylan.
still do those back testing challenges?
Back testing challenges?
Yeah, because I remember like before you would have like we would all hop onto like a back testing thing, and then you would like have separate portfolios for each of us.
Oh, you know what? Yes, we can actually pick that back up. Where if it's not so much a competition, it's more of like we're growing an account together on Trello on Soft4fx, right? Where like Tiger, let's say we hop on the simulator today and we trade, I don't know, GJ for like 2 or 3 sessions, and we gain, let's say 3 or 4%, right? So now I'll save that as Tiger, as a document, and then we'll go back, in a few days and start growing that account even more, and keep working on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, those were pretty cool.
Okay, so yeah, we'll most certainly be picking those up. I just kind of like starting from scratch with you guys, like especially when we do it as a group, we pick a random date and we just go in. But those are very helpful because it shows you guys like, okay, we're growing an account. This is working. As long as we're sticking to our rules together on these trades, we can easily compound this account. So yeah, we'll definitely pick those out. Is there anything else you guys like or that you want to do more of? Quentin's had some great ideas when it comes to breaking down charts together on the lives, especially when we have consolidating markets like we have right now, and also breaking down like previous trades in my journal as well. But is there anything you guys like specifically that you want to either continue or do better with or do more of?
If I think of anything creative, I'll let you know.
Appreciate it, man. We're always trying to get better.
Yeah, I really like you breaking down some trades, because one thing I have realized lately is that in different market conditions, sometimes I have a hard time really assessing if that's a range that I can trade
Okay.
or that's not a range I can trade. And I feel like breaking down trades and saying really where the good moves happen helps me really assess that and look at it the right way.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea. And I could talk forever on the trades I've taken. So I think you guys will get a lot out of it, and we'll keep going with it. So we're getting that pullback that we just talked about. We created the high. This 15-minute did pass the low right away. So we'll see how this candle ends up closing. But more importantly, what you want to do is really wait for a 30-minute candle close. Right? We'll see how this candle closes here. In the next, I don't know, 24 minutes. So when that candle closes, we'll have a better idea of if price is going to come back up. But the 15-minute, it looks like there's a lot of volume in this range over here and with this candle, and it looks like price just wants to keep pushing up. So really depending on the setup that we get over here, maybe on the 15-minute, we could take this. But again, we pass below that candle. Odds are I won't be taking that. But again, you never say never. That's one thing I've definitely learned in the market is, you can end up saying there's no way I'll take this or that. And then all of a sudden you get the perfect setup and I'm on a live stream and I'm saying I definitely wouldn't take that. And then we end up getting a perfect setup and missing it. Right. So that's one thing I've definitely learned over the past year or two is that you really just want to wait for the market structure to form, wait for the candles to close, see what you end up getting. And if it's a good setup, absolutely, we can maybe lower our risk and take it. Or we could just be like, you know what, that is a nice setup, but it's not nice enough. It's on a lower time frame. It's a Monday. There's a couple different factors holding us back from this. So we're probably not going to take it. Most of the time, you're right doing that, being safe like that. But, there are times that you're wrong. And those times when you're wrong on those and you miss the trade, those times can be dangerous because they reaffirm like bad habits. They reaffirm like, okay, I should have gone against my rules there. Right. And then you start playing that psychological game in your head and you end up fucking up a little bit down the road. Right. So you don't want to get into that point. The main important thing is sticking to your rules, no matter if you're going to miss a trade or not, and sticking to your word, because that's what's going to develop a lot of confidence. But guys, I've been drinking coffee this morning, so I got to use the bathroom one more time. I'll be right back.
I will do GBP CAD.
Okay. I like it. Just posting something for you guys. GBP CAD. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. Are we breaking this down before? Yeah, remove drawings. All right, brother, take it away. Damn, Sterling is not doing well.
All right. All right. Can you zoom in a little bit for me, please?
Yes,
All right. Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. That's what I want to look at.
Good job.
All right. So I would say I would draw a zone. Somewhere in there.
Okay. And why there?
I just see multiple rejections in the past. It's been held as support for a long time with a few breakouts, which we'll see what they really were on the lower time frames, obviously.
Okay.
But I just think it's a strong level.
I like it. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't think it was wrong. I was just
Yeah,
wanted an explanation.
for sure. We can see. I see a level here, but price broke out of it. Some down here.
Good shit. Yes, sir.
Let's zoom out a little bit and try and figure out where pricing is rejecting exactly.
Good to hear.
Okay. No, is that like the all-time low?
98. I mean,
Yeah.
as much data as we're gonna get, what I would normally do is probably like you see this bottom wick right here.
Yeah.
That's where I'd probably mark off like a horizontal line or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would do that, and then I would also look over here to the right and say, okay, this is the monthly. So obviously this is some kind of a support in the lower time frame. So
Mhm.
I would just want to mark off the monthly bottom wick right here.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. And then as we get down to the lower time frames, this could probably be thinned up, and we'll see what's going on. This wick is probably some kind of a support that we're now starting to reject back up into. So again, we'll see where we're at on the lower time frames. I just want to go back to GJ real quick and show you guys how the 15-minute candle closed here. Closed a weak bullish candle, right? But in an indecision candle as well, past the low and the high of the previous candle. So you want to be careful in these areas. Maybe, just maybe, you'll have safer buys above here. I'm looking at this as a possible, could we get a bottom wick on this candle past the high of that candle? Possibly. But I'd rather see that on the 30-minute, like the 30-minute close like this, or like a strong engulfing candle. Next one creates a bottom wick, passes the high over here, and you could possibly grab that, continuing up. All right. GBP CAD. Okay, so we go with the monthly?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Weekly. Okay. Similar to GJ. So this shows you that the that move yesterday was, or maybe this was this morning. That move was from the pound, right? The pound dropping, not so much like the yen getting strength or CAD getting strength. It shows that this whole move was pretty much the British pound opening up for the week. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Cool.
So honestly, like just with the way the screen zoomed in, I can't really see too much.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
The one annoying part about trading, marking of charts, is going all the way back, seeing where that next level is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we can shorten up this zone right here.
Cool. Where would you like it?
I'd pull that top one down.
You here?
Yeah. Let's see what that looks like over here to the right.
Previous support.
Yeah, previous. Yeah, that looks good. So for sure.
Okay.
Other than that, like on the weekly, this is really all I see with this big wick down here, and
Mhm.
then prices just I would say consolidating in
Yeah, man.
these. I mean, it's just free fall right
100%.
here, but yeah, that's about it.
It's just been all lower lows, lower highs, all the way from 174 over here. We've just been printing these lower highs, lower lows. Now you're getting some nice rejections with these wicks, right? So
Mhm.
could price have created that low, and could we be coming up to tap into that area again, or even better yet, this key area right there, and then continue down the fill? Make sense?
Mhm.
All right, daily.
Yeah, can you zoom out a little bit?
Yep. We go over here. What I've been looking at is those curved monitors, like
Yeah.
the long ones that are kind of as big as a like two monitors. It just like comes across.
Mhm.
Would love that. Any
All
idea
right.
what you want to do?
What's that?
Any idea what you want to do here?
Honestly, it's kind of stumping me because it's just been in a straight free for all. So like marking levels
Mm-hmm.
is not as easy, I would say, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, and again, that's why we do this. So like with this one, what I would do is take into consideration that this is the daily, right? So this is obviously a very strong support right here, right? And then you have this support right down here, which I'll just mark off where the wicks are.
Mhm.
So a lot of times you'll be on the higher time frames and you'll have a really thick zone in a whole area. And then you'll go down the lower time frames, like 1 or 2 time frames from, let's say, the monthly to the daily, and you can separate those, that one big giant thick zone, you could separate those into two, because then you get 2 different ranges that you could be tapping into. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So now we go over to the right and see what's up with these levels. And those are also psychological levels. That's 150 right up here.
Yeah.
$1.50. Below that is $1.4825, something like that. So now you see that's that first area was that support, right? The next one is where price could be coming up into right now and holding a resistance to continue down. I personally think with a candle like this, you're going to get a further pullback up into here. But even better if that happens. You're going to have to wait longer, but you're going to have bigger of a range to retest that low.
Mhm.
All right, so yeah, there's two clues with this too. You had the strong bearish candle close, but no bottom wick. This
Yeah.
candle looks like it passed the low right away, came all the way down to 140, and then ends up retracing all the way back and flipping bullish. There's a ton of volume in this candle right here. So that tells me that tomorrow I could see us creating a bottom wick and passing the high, or consolidating around this area and then continuing up before continuing down.
Gotcha.
All right, 4 hour. Yeah, look at that pullback.
Yeah.
So we at least corrected 50% of this move. So whenever you have a big move like this, a lot of times at least 50% gets corrected before continuing back down. That's mainly on scalps, but higher time frames, I'm sure it's the same.
Yeah, when I hit that auto button,
Sure. You love that button, huh?
yeah, it helps. So yeah, I mean, we're, like you said, we're looking to tap into these zones, these ranges.
Yeah, can't see much right now, right?
Yeah, it's just too much clean traffic.
Yeah. So now, got a perfect support right in that level we marked off, 145, 700. So higher low formed, strong bullish candles filling the wicks that they leave. And then you got this previous support to the left, if you remember. And now is that resistance that we ended up forming. We're now
Yep.
coming into that area. So the question is, do you have enough range right here to take a buy if you get a setup on the lower time frames? Got about 64 pips. But at the same time, with a move like this, after a bearish move, at some point you're going to get some kind of a pullback before continuing up.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, too, this is a very strong level that we ended up tapping into, grabbing liquidity, and flipping bullish over here. Right?
Yeah.
Like we completely corrected this move on the daily.
Oh yeah.
Completely flipped. So there's so much volume in that you're just kind of playing the buy side now. But at the same time, you know the limitations, just like Sharma likes to say, know the limitations to your trade. You guys know the limitations of candles too, and how far they could possibly push. Like this one, we ended up pushing all the way down to 140, 400, and then retraced all the way back, right? So what are the chances that this candle pushes all the way up here? They're pretty low, right? Most of the time, if you get a candle that comes all the way down here and then flips bullish, or not flips bullish, but taps into that area and then retraces all the way back up here and then flips bullish, the candle pretty much only closes that strong, like somewhere around this area. So we know on sterling CAD that we could possibly just continue to range right around this area for the rest of the day. Might not happen, we don't know, but that's from the data that you guys pull from previous setups, from the journals that you guys study. You're going to see that most of the time you only get a candle that big. So now we're getting these clean candles here. Prices respecting that area, bouncing off higher lows here. But now we're starting to come into that previous major support to the left on the higher time frames. Previous resistance as well. Indecision candle, past the low of that candle. It looked like we were starting to reverse over here with this candle creating a strong bullish candle with no top wick. Then you get the weaker bullish candle. This candle passes the low right away, but taps into this whole area right here and holds support and then flips bullish. So it grabs some liquidity right here and then now continuing up. So it was like a minor pullback. Our 15-minute ended up closing, but closed below resistance right over here, right? With an indecision candle. And it's not like this is the 30-minute, this is the 15-minute. And if you look at GJ, we're doing the same exact thing. And we're trying to figure if this candle is going to pass the high of that candle, and we're coming into a previous resistance as well. Same exact thing over here.
Yep.
All right. So very, very similar price action on GJ as you have on GC. And now the 15-minute candle closed a weak bullish candle, indecision bullish candle. This candle is trying to figure out where it wants to go, and it's only got 3 minutes before it closes. So odds are it closes either a weak bearish or a weak bullish candle, which we're still in this range. So you got to be careful taking trades in there. 30-minute though, did flip bullish so far at least. And it is bullish right now. So I think a break of this wick over here or a close above this level is going to be perfect for you to take a trade. Just going to mark this off like that. Got about 100 or 200 pips in this area with a cleaner move to the left for you to continue back up. We'll see what we get. It's the same story over here. How much farther can this bullish candle push after this bottom wick was created? Let's go back. GBP, Chaz. Great job though, Dylan.
Thank you.
Of course. Getting more confident with breaking down charts?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Where do you feel like you could be doing better?
I feel like just getting in the habit of like the way you journal your trades, like right from the get-go, like, all right, this is what I see. Oh, it set itself up. I'm in it, like I'll be writing stuff out like literally as it's playing out live, you know what I mean? And taking those screenshots better. Just getting better at that so I have a stronger journal.
That's a great point. What you can do with that now is write on a piece of paper your entry criteria and your checklist. And this is on your trading plan that we put together. It's also in the trading checklist I've sent to you guys many times. I'm gonna actually send it again into the group just so like I don't know if Ki Young has seen this yet. Hold on one second. It's the checklist that I created for you guys. So what I'm writing here is the more that you guys start studying this and just looking over it, making it like a morning ritual to kind of just read through this real quick and understand this is what I'm looking for before trade. It looks like there's a lot of things in here, which there kind of is, right? But the more you look at it, the more you look at it in the morning as well and study it, the quicker you're going to be going through these progressions, right? Again, I always use like sports analogies, but think about a quarterback going through his progressions of like wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, and then the check down running backs, right? So you're going through these, and as a rookie quarterback, it may be taking you a little bit longer to go through those progressions, or you're staring down your main receiver, and then all of a sudden you get picked off. But as a trader, bringing that into trading, these are your progressions before throwing the ball. You're looking through all these different things. You're trying to figure out, okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. As a rookie or as a beginner trader, it's going to take you a while to just be like, okay, is the market trending or ranging? Is there a significant support? Okay, let me check that. But now, as an experienced trader, you're like, is it trending or ranging? Okay, trending, obviously. Significant support, and you're also going through these while you're doing the journal, which is also something I'm about to get into that Dylan mentioned. But you're going through these, and most of these are already basically checked off after going through a full technical breakdown and fundamental breakdown of your pair. So you have a lot of these checked off already, and then once the setup appears, you only have a few things to run through, and then all of a sudden you're good. Right, that's where the speed comes in. But again, journaling, like you just said, that's a great point, dude. You have a process that I was just telling you to write down where it's like, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is break everything down right from the get-go, right from the daily or right from the monthly all the way down to the 30-minute. And now I'm going to start taking screenshots of the daily and adding them into my Trello, which we'll go over here and do real quick right now as a group. Let's see, where's that? Where's that thing? Oh, here we go. So live trading journal 2022. Let's say we're eyeing a setup here on GJ, which we kind of are. I don't know if it's going to be nice, but it'll take forever to load. So what I'll do here is I'll just start off with GJ, the pair, on 9/26/22 at AM. We know it's going to be during New York if we're going to take it. And then Monday, the day, and then the session, New York. All right, and we're going to click on this. And the first thing we're going to do is go over here to the daily on GJ and just mark off our screenshot. Looks a little messy with this. I normally like start off with the daily and I'll do my screenshot real quick after a few of these daily levels are marked off. And then I'll do this. And just write D for daily. 4 hour. Now, what this does is, one, it really makes sure that you journal, right? If you're doing the journal throughout the trade, it's very easy to get all your journals done. Like if you set a standard for yourself that I'm not trading until I journal this trade, or I have the pre-setups marked off. 8:30 just closed, 1 hour. And then the 30-minute. So the 30-minute just closed bullish over here. Will the next one create a bottom wick here and flip bullish? This is too weak of a candle for me. Unless we get the bottom wick formed and past the high of this candle, I think we could possibly grab it because we have New York volume and we've been bullish all morning. But again, there's something about this resistance over here that makes me think that we could end up rejecting this area and consolidate in this area, or end up rejecting that resistance and continuing down. Right here, I'll take the screenshot. A 30-minute, and I'll take one of the 15-minute. Yeah, 15-minute candles are closing very weak bullish candles. So that tells me that we could definitely be getting some kind of a pullback coming up. Is everyone following me here today? You guys all good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. $15-minute. Okay, so now we're all set. Now all we got to do is go into your chart over here. And again, we already have all this marked off, but kind of like writing in here. Let's say Sunday market, Sunday open, price ended up tanking down to 149, rejecting hard from it to continue bullish. This morning, getting a little formed. Just bounce off 15-minute with push close from. Okay, so this 15-minute candle created a bottom wick and is now passing the high of that candle right there. 30-minute candle right here as well. So right now, again, we're in a high volume time. Can this candle pass the high of that candle? Healthy bottom wick. Do we have enough range right here? 33 pips. I think that's looking good right now. Yeah, 1 hour candle starting to push up over here. Okay, so I'm gonna enter a 1%er. So right here, I'm placing my stop loss below this bearish wick right here, right? You could put it back down here, which would be even safer, and you could put it below this current 30-minute candle. I'm going to put it right between that, right below that wick. And I'm anticipating price to continue up. That should be wide enough for price to continue up if we have the idea that we're thinking about. Just get rid of this, some of this garbage. Anybody else looking at this as well?
Yeah, I'm in this with lower risk.
Okay, yeah, just 1%. Again, it's Monday. You guys want to be more conservative on Monday and Friday and Sunday if you see a setup that you like. So now we start marking off, which is normally what I do before I take those screenshots that I did before. Very low form, bullish. So our plan for this is that price is supposed to create this bottom wick and pass the high of that candle and start pushing through, right? Filling that wick and continuing up into this area over here, this resistance over there. So that resistance, I think I may be taking a piece off depending on the price action. 2. Pulse entry using 830 volume. Zero bottom. So if we start seeing signs that we're rejecting this level over here, we may be managing risk. But the main thing you guys want to do and concentrate on is manage for the most part when candles are closing. Now we have nice room here to manage risk. If the 30-minute starts breaking its own low over here, you can cut 50. Or if this candle closes somewhere below this level and the next one passes the low of the previous 30-minute candle, that's in my rules typically that I'll be cutting 50 as well, right? But most of the time you want to wait for candles to close, especially if you're managing on the 15-minute time frame. Trust me, there's going to be setups where that's different, right? On a case-by-case basis, where the 15-minute, it really makes sense to close if price is actually passing the low or the high in the opposite direction of the previous candle, right? But most of the time, especially the 15-minute, that's where you can just wait for the candle to close. So it looks like it's not pushing through the way we want just yet. That doesn't mean it's not going to, but I was planning on price pushing hard with New York volume. So 30-minute, and I'll normally go over here, want as much notes in here as possible. Copy. Paste. Price bounced. After I'm gonna write something about this resistance right here that we need to be aware about. Yeah, 156. We technically are at a resistance based on candle. I was saying we technically have a resistance at 156, but based on the candle bodies and setup we have now, we should push through. So now we could change this to long GJ on the date and what time was this taken. I think this was taken around 8:20. Oh, I have it here. 8:37. 8:37 a.m. All right, and we just watch it play through. Also make that. Oh, we got someone in the chat. I like it. Gold over here ended up holding that higher low, holding that support over here, kind of pushing up 30-minute, mirroring the move to the left over here, holding this whole support. It's the same thing we were talking about. Yeah. Again, this is a tricky range to be trading in because you'd be buying against the trend here without breaking certain levels. So it'd basically just be banking on this support holding with some weak bullish candles, anticipating price to continue up, but could have very well been faked out and then continue back down in a bearish market. All right, so it's just something that you need to be aware about. This is actually your sign though, too. This is what we were talking about. If this support ends up holding and pushing up, then you could definitely see gold faking out over here or holding some kind of resistance and continuing down. But the fact that the dollar now kind of faked that level out and is now continuing down, holding that resistance, which is like right here. Now that we're holding that resistance and continuing down, mirroring the move to the left, you now see gold coming back up. Hold on, guys. Spilt my entire coffee. GJ's looking nice. So now that we're coming into that resistance over there, that's a nice move. All right, I'm going to cut off 50 here. Excuse me. All right. So who else was in this? Sammy? Lewis, you said it made sense, right?
Yeah, I was in this. I secured
Beautiful.
the full thing at that resistance
Okay. I like it.
after a winning start.
Off to yes, sir. Now on to the next trade. It's all about kind of just um taking this in, being happy with yourself, patting yourself on the back, right? But at the same time, knowing, okay, it's just one trade. One trade doesn't define you, one loss doesn't define you, one win doesn't define you, or one loss doesn't. 30-minute closed 50% at how many pips was this? 65 pips. Stop loss moved up. Beautiful.
Do you think price is gonna move like this all week simply because of how low the pound got?
Do I think what's going to happen all week?
Like these big moves where we have like 40, 50, 60 pip stops and
Well, yeah, there's typically a lot of liquidity right now. Wait, hold up.
but
There it is.
oh, I heard that in a while.
Yeah, right. Sometimes my iPad's not charged, so I gotta make sure I have it here every day. So that's a nice move, guys. All right, so I'm gonna move my stops to break even here. Oh shit. I love this full screen on here, but you don't get as many features on the full screen. You always gotta exit the full screen to like draw a level or something like that. Three-minute stops move to break even. So you guys get the idea of how I'm managing risk here and journaling for the most part. Carlos, did you grab that whole move or did you exit when we were traced here? Can't believe it. Just fucking did that. Carlos, you still here? Ooh, he's not here anymore. Yeah, dude, the days of lockdown with COVID was actually so nice. Because everyone was home, right? There were so many new traders that popped up. But at the same time, as far as the group is concerned, not everyone was like traveling for work or people weren't working in the morning. And we were on the live streams every single morning. Just like all of us, bunch of us. And you know, that was nice. But again, we all gotta get back to our lives and got a lot more things going on here. Back to normal life. All right, guys. Any questions?
No, that's a good move.
Yes, sir. Did you jump in, Tiger?
No, I'm just watching.
Okay. Now, being that again the daily has done all this like we talked about, and actually made a nice push today as well. I do think that we should be coming up to 158. But again, like we're very overextended. The 4 hour is going to be closing soon. So what I'm going to do is take another piece off of this. Order execution. All right, take another piece off of this. Already at break even. Somewhere around here. Wow, man. It's a good way to start the month, the week, guys. $101. 30-minute closed another. Holy. All right. All right, guys. I got all these calls coming in, but it's coming up to 9 a.m. Do you guys have any questions before we hop off? I'll keep you guys updated. Send this in the group
No,
chat.
we're good, bro. I'm good at least.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, if I take anything else, I'll keep you guys updated in the group. I'm actually home all day today so far. So we'll reconvene in Discord, and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow.
All right, bro, man. You guys take care, man. Have a good night.
Absolutely. You too. Guys, remember it's Monday. Stick to those daily musts every single day. It's the only thing you can control as well as your mindset. So if you can have a strong mind, but also complete your daily tasks on a daily basis, it's the only thing that you guys have control over. You don't have control over the markets, whether you win or lose, right? All you have control over is your daily targets of what you guys want to hit and your weekly targets of what you want to hit as far as tasks that you have to do. So stick to those, and you guys know you're going to be in good hands. You're going to put yourself in a good position. All right, so I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow. As always, I'm looking forward to it, and have a great day.
All right, man.
Oh, Lewis, you
Yeah.
sent something. Your overall TP is a weekly key level that I've marked off as well. All right, let me. Yeah, I gotta run. I keep getting all these calls. Have a good one, guys. Oh, shit.